Hello, everyone. Ex Wallkill Bethelite here. And we want to introduce Lily to everyone. Lily is new to the family. Hello, Lily. Lily is new to YouTube, and she's going to be probably with us in a lot of our videos here. But we want to talk about, that's who's going to be chewing on me the whole time I'm doing the video. We want to talk a little bit about some of the rumors swirling around about the next annual meeting and possible changes that we may be getting. We've already gotten a ton of changes. The beard rule, of course, the lowering of field service requirements for pioneers and for auxiliary pioneer. We've gotten a ton of changes to the point where I think Jehovah's Witnesses are going to get to the point where they don't know what they teach anymore. But one thing is for sure is that the current and future Jehovah's Witnesses are going to have it so much easier than all of us did, because the rumor is, this is just a rumor, but I've heard it so much, and I don't put it past them, because when I heard that they were going to change some of the other things that they changed, I'm thinking, oh, that's crazy. They're not going to do that. I heard they were going to change the shunning rule, and I'm thinking, no, they're not going to do that. And then sure enough, here they go, changing it to where people can come in the hall, be disfellowshipped, and people talk to them anyway. I mean, all kind of the beard thing. I'm like, oh no, they're not going to change that. Then you got Sam Hurd, all 900 years old, and he just now growing a beard out. So you can't put anything past Watchtower. And right now I'm hearing that they're going to change the holiday rule. For the longest time, if you were a Jehovah's Witness, you could have nothing at all to do with a holiday. I grew up in the days where when someone else was having a birthday party, it ain't my birthday. Somebody else was having a birthday party in my class. I'm talking about when I'm young, so young that people are got, cupcakes and stuff like that. They're handing out cupcakes in school. And I remember having to go to the library and be the only one. I'm the only one sitting in the library while all the other kids are having cake and ice cream. And if I remember correctly, I don't think they had candles at school. People may have candles in their birthday cakes at home, but I don't think at school they had candles. So I'm hearing, the rumor that I'm hearing is that they're going to change it to where people will be allowed to celebrate birthdays. Believe it or not, that's what I'm hearing. That's going to happen at the next annual meeting. Unless they hear this video and say, you know what, we ain't going to change it because Marcus done found out about it. But that's what I'm hearing. When's the annual meeting? In October? So the next annual meeting should be in October. So a few months from now. But that's what I'm hearing, is that there's more changes coming. Now, here's the kicker. The kicker is what I'm hearing again. This is rumor, that people will be able to celebrate birthdays, but they won't be able to have candles. So whereas before Jehovah's Witnesses thought that the entire birthday celebration was pagan, now they're going to just say that there's certain parts of the celebration that they don't like, such as the candles. To my knowledge, that's the only thing. You can have cake, you can have ice cream, you can have presents. You can have people sing happy birthday, as far as I know. The only thing that they think is demonic is blowing out the candle and making a wish. because
It's spell work.
it's magic. It's spell
That's
work.
what Tony, whatever his name, did.
So
Apostate.
Serenity said it's spells. You're casting a spell. So if you blow out the candle, and what a lot of people do, because they'll say, make a wish, make a wish. A lot of people, they got presents on the table. They got presents. They got stuff there presently. Why on earth am I going to make a wish when my presents are right there in front of me? What difference does it make what I wish for when what I got is right there on the table? So I think it's, I think it's technicalities, because I think in reality, when people say make a wish and blow out the candle, I think people just blow out the candle. I don't think people are sitting there thinking up wishes to where they're doing magic on their birthday cake. You know what I mean? Like you would use a magic ball or crystal ball to create magic. People use, cakes layered with icing to cast wish magic. But that's what, they don't want people to blow out candles. So there is a huge ripple effect. These changes are not minor, because people for years, I'm talking entire generations of people, were deprived of birthdays. So what has come to my mind, and what has come to my mind often, is that I think that the strength of Watchtower, the strength of Watchtower is not the intelligence of the membership. The strength of Watchtower is not the accuracy of the teachings. The strength of Watchtower has been their ability to change whatever in the world and the doctrine they want, whenever they want, and everybody just goes along with it. You can't do that in the Catholic Church. If somebody in the Catholic Church tries to change some teachings, all hell's gonna break loose. If somebody in a lot of churches, Church of Christ, just goes up there and says, we're gonna change all these teachings, all hell will break loose. But Jehovah's Witnesses are essentially not a church. They even say that they're not a church. They're an organization. So for them, these are just policies and procedures. They are going to follow the sound of the drum that the governing body is beating. So it's essentially like a person going to work. If you go to work and they change a bunch of policies, oh well, you know what I mean? These are the new policies now. It's what it is with Jehovah's Witnesses. So it's not a church. A church, you can't make all these changes without people getting really upset, because accuracy is very important when you're talking about Christianity and trying to practice Christianity the way it's been practiced, is what a lot of people want to do. Or they want to practice it according to the Bible. The Bible ain't changed. The ancient practices hadn't changed. So for Jehovah's Witnesses to be changing things all the time, the reason why that works with them is it's not a church. They don't have the mindset of church members. They have the mindset of employees working for Watchtower, and now their policies are changing. So a lot of people are going to be upset about this. And I've thought about the possibility that Watchtower, just a possibility that Watchtower could end up having a split eventually if they keep this up. Because that has been the reason a lot of churches have had divisions, splits. I mean, think about it. You got the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church. And there was this huge split. Now you got two separate churches over something that was just a few differences. From my understanding, it's just a few differences. There is a clause in one of their teachings, and if Mary is immaculate. I think other than that, they pretty much believe a lot of the same things. So if Jehovah's Witnesses keep changing things and making it extremely easy for your current Jehovah Witness, because they're wanting their numbers to go up. They're wanting their numbers to go up. There's a possibility that you could eventually have resentment. And it's not that I don't want them to make these changes. These changes are good, essentially, for kids. I mean, the psychological damage of a child who is trying, they're shy, they're trying to make friends. And now you have something that is divisive, like birthdays and holidays and the such, where now they're isolated from their classmates. The last thing you need is to give people a reason to pick on you. So religion doesn't always show up when you're talking about a bunch of fifth graders, right? Second, third, fourth, fifth graders. Don't nobody know what anybody's religion is. But for Jehovah's Witnesses, that was a big deal. Oh, there's going to be a cake and ice cream? Oh, no, you can't have that. You got to be separated. So for the people who have missed out on 40 birthdays, 50, 60, 70 birthdays, there are people who are about to expire. Like the date on the milk that has the use by date before it spoils. There's people whose use by date has already passed, like they're old and they're about to die and they ain't had no birthdays. And now Watchtower is about to make it so that all the younger generation can celebrate all their birthdays. This is going to be huge, and it's hard to imagine there being a split, but there has already been a split with Jehovah's Witnesses, and that is the international Bible students who are still here and Jehovah's Witnesses. So Jehovah's Witnesses being the larger group, although it's not saying very much, because Jehovah's Witnesses in themselves, even though they're larger than the Bible students, they're not that big in comparison to most religions. Now, the reason why this is interesting to me is because I think Watchtower has realized that they have maximized their numbers and their income. It's not getting any bigger, and they're not getting any more income other than what they've already got. Once you start getting entire countries that ban your religion, yeah, it's going to be hard for you to grow very much. And there hadn't been a lot of growth in America. So I think that Watchtower is taking a page out of the Mormon handbook. And to understand what I mean, you need to understand the history of the Mormons, which is the LDS Church, the Church of what they call the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You need to understand that the people who you think are Mormons, they are a part of a split. Their religion that a lot of people think is a cult. I do also. I don't think they're as bad as Jehovah's Witnesses, but I think it's a cult. Their cult split. So not just regular religions, cults can split. It's happened before, so it's not totally out of the question for Jehovah's Witnesses. We can't say, oh, it would never happen. So the Mormons, you had Joseph Smith, who is their main prophet. Joseph Smith is up there with importance with the Mormon church. That's who founded their religion, essentially. Joseph Smith, a lot of people may not know this, but he had multiple wives, right? There are Mormons who still believe in having multiple wives. It's called the Fundamentalist Mormon Church. So you got the LDS Church, which is the huge church. And then you have the fundamentalist Mormons who are smaller. But this is my opinion. They may be the real Mormons. They're the people who kind of follow their prophet, Joseph Smith. Talking about they can have all these wives and all the stuff that they're doing. A lot of people don't agree with it, but it's probably what Joseph Smith would have done. I mean, I think it is what Joseph Smith did. The reason why the original, which in my opinion, the fundamentalist Mormons, I think are the original Mormons. The reason why the LDS Church got bigger and is massive and has almost taken over Utah is because of the changes in the doctrine, lightening up. What Watchtower's doing right now is a page out of the Mormon's handbook. The reason why they're so big is because of a changing of teachings. They changed the polygamy belief. So now they don't practice polygamy anymore. They changed that. They changed, of course, the racist teaching of no blacks being allowed in their hierarchy. If you weren't allowed to go into their temples if you were black. So essentially the Mormons lightened up on a whole lot of stuff. And they grew. I mean, huge. They blew up. So in making rule changes and lightening up on a whole lot of stuff, now the Mormons are huge. They're raking in tons of money and everything. I think that's what the Jehovah's Witnesses are doing. They're lightening up, and they're lightening up on a lot of different teachings. You have to think that there's got to be a reason for things. They ain't just changing rules just to change rules. They're changing a lot of them, and the pattern thus far has been a lightening up on a whole lot of teachings. The teaching about people being able to join the Jehovah's Witnesses all the way up into Armageddon is a change. And it's a lightening up. So they're doing the exact same things that the Mormons, the LDS Church did to get as big as it is currently. Look up the fundamentalist Mormons and look up the LDS Church, do a little research, and you'll see a cult split. And the cult and the people that lightened up the rules, loosened the rules, changed a bunch of rules, and made it a little bit more mainstream, that stuff worked. It worked for the Mormon Church. And how you feel about that has a lot to do with how you feel about Jehovah's Witnesses. Because if you think that you just don't want them to be around, like you want the whole organization to be gone, then you don't want them lightening up on all this stuff. Because I'm not talking about just changing a few rules like the beard. That ain't going to amount to a hill of beans. Changing the teaching on the beard ain't going to amount to a hill of beans. Changing the teaching to where you can just say hi to people who are disfellowship now, they ain't going to amount to a whole lot. But if they keep this stuff up and they change a lot of teachings in order to become more mainstream, in order to fit in with society so that they're not so isolated and separated from all the other churches, well, that's what the Mormons did, and it worked for them. So we have to watch. We got to watch how this works out, because I don't think that there's going to be a huge influx of members just because Jehovah's Witnesses changed birthdays. It would have to be a continuation of the pattern that we've been seeing. And the pattern is a loosening up on a whole lot of teachings. Have they gotten stringent on anything any more than what they have in the past? Did you know of? They ain't been getting stringent on nothing. They've been loosening up on everything. So if they keep this up, they could put themselves on the same path as the Mormons. And the Mormons had a split.
No.
There's multiple Mormons. I think there's at least 3 groups. The LDS Church, the Fundamentalist Mormons, and another group that has women in upper positions. And they all use the Book of Mormon. I can't remember the name of the other Mormon group, but it's split 3 ways. So Jehovah's Witnesses have already had 2 splits. The Bible students and Jehovah's Witnesses. They keep it up. There could be a 3rd split because some people may hold on to the old teachings. You got to understand that the reason why a lot of people are Jehovah's Witnesses is because they feel separate and different and special. It makes them feel special. Well, if Watchtower starts becoming a lot more liberal and loosens up a whole lot of the teachings and they become a lot more like other churches, well, it may help Watchtower financially. There may be an influx of members like Watchtower's never seen in years if they continue on. I don't mean just with a few changes. They'd have to do a whole lot of changes, get rid of the shunning, get rid of all the stuff that is upsetting the people. I heard, this is another rumor, that they hired a PR team, and the PR team has done research and has looked into all the things that is a turnoff for people to Watchtower, and they're bringing this information to the governing body, and the governing body is going in and changing. Well, let's just get rid of all the rules that this PR team is saying, hey, is giving us a bad taste in people's mouths. Well, they're going to have to do a whole lot of that. But if they do, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be very interesting to see. If they start celebrating birthdays, Christmas could be next. Because people think of Christmas as Jesus' birthday. So if they are celebrating birthdays, I don't know who Christmas could be next. And then they might just say, hey, you can celebrate Christmas, but you can't have a tree. You can have all the presents that you want. You can stack presents to the ceiling, but you can't have a tree. And what that would do is put Watchtower more in line with society at large. It wouldn't be such a huge leap for a person to go from Baptist to Jehovah's Witness. It's a double-edged sword, because then it wouldn't be a huge leap for a person to go from Jehovah's Witness to Baptist either. So we'll have to see how this goes. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. But that's the rumor that could be the change. It could be something else. It could be something else that gets changed. We'll have to see. But that's all I had. Serena, do you have anything to add? Serena doesn't have anything to add. We'll see how it all plays out. X-Wall Kill Bethelite signing out.